Well, I hope you guys thought that was pretty cool.
It's really cool.
I thought it was super cool.
I know that you've been dogfooding agent control a bit to build something really special. Would you mind telling me a little bit about it?
No, it's super secret.
I give you permission. I think it's super cool.
No, in fairness, we are doing something with it. We call it Project Fairy Tale internally because every good engineering project deserves a code name.
Code name, yeah.
Although this one should be obvious when you hear it, which is how do we put this into practice? My belief is the best products come out of companies that solve their own problems, and our problem is going faster and faster and faster. And so we've implemented Project Fairy Tale as our internal dog fooding of proving out that this really works in production. We're shipping 3 times more code than we shipped just 3 months ago.
Wow.
Using this process to build automated PRs, automated reviews, automated feature flagging, all of the things that you just described in that amazing demo, we've been doing internally now for the last few months with a very small team behind it.
What for you is the coolest component of Project Fairy Tale?
I think the coolest component is it continues to evolve, where we continue to allow evals through agents to make decisions for us. Is this the right thing? Is this high risk? Where do I have to bring a human into the loop? And we talked about earlier how we're going so fast that the bottleneck is no longer writing code. It's things like PRs, right, where you have to have a human review it. Well, I still would have to staff up for those humans. So can I apply agentic judgment to be able to evaluate, do I need a human? Is this low risk? Does this even need a flag because it doesn't change runtime behavior or it doesn't involve AI? And that's really freeing and liberating, where we can take our humans that are there and put them on the best, most important, most interesting cognitively work that's out there, and I don't have to put them on the toil.
So Edith, are we gonna productize this? What does this look like? Do you think other people have this problem, or is this just a LaunchDarkly thing?
I think LaunchDarkly is very much like our customers. We have literally thousands of customers worldwide who rely on us.
Right.
We also, and I'll be honest, we have a lot of code of various age. There's some code in our code base that's over 10 years old.
Wow.
So a term Gene Kim uses to describe code bases like that is they become haunted.
Ooh, spooky.
Where literally you might have a piece of code base that hundreds of people have checked code in, have different patterns, different framework, and it becomes almost impossible to modify that code base. So a project that one of our principal engineers, Zach, worked on was to use agents to clean up that code base. And it was so amazing to see a project that we thought would take a year plus, honestly, of refactoring and get it down to a speed that could be measured.
We did a lot of good learnings around evals too. What does it mean? Code is often structurally correct, but functionally incorrect.
Yeah.
Right?
Been there.
Yeah, right? It compiled.
It's beautiful, yeah.
It compiled, or the agent did it, is the new worked on my machine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Worked on my machine. But learning those eval loops, right? Learning to say not just are the pixels in the right place for this button, but when I click into the button, do the right menus appear? As I go into the right menus, are the right APIs called with the right parameters? This is all a very high level of validation and verification, and learning how to connect that all up and re-kick off that release, observe, iterate loop of pushing this through has been game-changing for us. If you were to give somebody else advice who is a little less forward, a little less certain about trying this out because, oh, maybe I'm not here yet, how would you tell them to get started?
It's always a challenge to convince people that you can leverage AI as a supervisor of other AI agents. I think people always think that either there's going to be a cabal, AI agents can be no, I'm on the side of the AI agent, so I'm always going to rank it unfairly. Or people will think, if a given agent is already hallucinating, why would another agent be good at making a decision around a hallucination? I think something that I've learned while working on agent control is that actually agents are incredibly, incredibly good at judging the work of other agents critically. It's just a matter of making sure that they have the right context and the right intent behind that. But they're actually even better at judging the work of other agents than they are at doing the work themselves.
I think a crucial part there is that you have to give them criteria to judge on.
Exactly.
If you say to an agent, is this work good?
Yeah.
They do not know the meaning of the word good.
Yeah.
It's not a word that has meaning, but if you say is this fast enough? Is it meeting our needs?
You literally give it a series of checks Did binary evaluations, did it do this or not? 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 At the end of the day, it's the human who's owning the intent. It's the human who's ultimately owning that arbitration of what good is and whether or not this thing is useful and actually serving my need as an engineer or as a business. But it's amazing the kinds of frameworks that you can give AI to ultimately come to judgments about whether or not the result is good.
But you absolutely have to be responsible for those frameworks, 'cause otherwise it's very easy to say, well, pass all the tests. What did the tests say? Nothing.
Like, how do you guys think about and negotiate the balance between controlled automation and full automation? How do you make a decision around what kind of automation to control and when to build in controls? And how do you make a decision around like when maybe we're just gonna let the machine go burr on its own for a while?
So I'll speak for this particular project.
Yeah.
So Zach was the engineer who did it, and he said the more checkpoints he built in, the happier he was.
Really? Okay.
Like, so he broke it into, as I said, about 19 distinct, like this is a different area. Because as you well know, if you're putting models at something and one starts drifting, then the other starts drifting, you don't have just the error of that one model, you have it compounded by every other
Oh my God.
model.
Absolutely, yeah.
So making it sure that if something was going slightly off, that it could come back to the right path very quickly was crucial.
Yeah, it's really about building that framework or the guardrails around the project. You know, we all want determinism. Like one of the things I've always loved about software, I'm going to speak for Edith here, is when you tell the computer to do something, it does it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're no longer in that world. And so being able to have strong guardrails that push us to that world, because that's what software is really good at, is these deterministic outcomes. By pushing it back with these guardrails, it's been game changing. And that checkpoint, like that series of checkpoints, is how you do it.
Yeah, I think this is a nice kind of place to end up. I do think that the future is not like, let's let the robots kind of ship whatever. And it's also kind of at the same time not like we got to slow everything down so that humans can inspect like every little corner of every little thing. The future is controlled automation, right? That's what we've been talking about. And AI can really help teams build more, modernize more, and automate more, but only if that work is actually really wrapped in guardrails, feedback, signal intelligence, as you were saying, and the ability to respond while systems are like actually live in production. And so if you're just getting started, like that is the system you need. You need all those things, right? Not just a way to experiment with AI, but a way to control it. Guardrails around what agents can do, signals that tell you what's happening, and the ability to really actually take action before any user feels the ultimate failure. That's what runtime control really gives teams. And that's why agent control is just such a natural next step for LaunchDarkly. The mission has always been control in production. The surface area is just expanding from code to agents. In the AI era, speed isn't the same thing as risk. Lack of control is. Edith, Cameron, thank you. It's nice to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was great.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for joining us.